Hey, what's up? It's the normal playing guy, and as promised, I'm back again, like you've always wanted to. With Boo STR Boo, we open up 2025 with two, yet again another Margin Boo Saga Easy Ace. But hey, 2025 kicks off with a blast because the transforming Super Saiyan 2 and 3 Goku, and with this Kid Boo is the nasty, and we're going to jump straight into it. We've done the other one, this is now Boo. This will be a shorter video. There's no real fair competition for him, there's no side by side, there's no recent Easy A. You could perhaps choose the Super Easy A Kid Boo, right? But as I say, one is a support and is hardcore support, and the other guy, this guy seems like he's going to absolutely steal the show. So let's just jump into it. So it's probably going to be flat out 170% across the board, and we'll have a look between his old and the new, and what's really gonna what the weaknesses they've covered. So previously it's 3 key 180%, it's nice. 30% with each attack performed, goes up to 120%, has an additional attack, 30% chance to super, 20% at the end of the turn in which you got an attack, and 70% for unarmed super attacks. So that is melee based basically. Super attack effect was 30% to stat and a small chance to stun. This was nice. I'm curious to know if this has actually been improved. This was a forever permanent buff, which was nice. On top of which this guy had big bad bosses, by the way. So that plus this, and that's actually really nice. So let's have a look. So we have, full 170% across the board for Battle of Fate and Majin Buu. So once again, another relevant lead. Oh wow, 3 key 250%. Oof, right. Okay, pretty good. An additional 40% with each attack performed to 160. Now bear in mind, when it was up to 120%, so he started off with what, 2 million, then he jumps to 4, then he jumps to like 8, and then he jumps to over 10. And this was probably 69, 79%. And at 55%, he was doing like 2 million and 4 million and 8 million. And 8 million a few years ago, back in 2022, so a couple of years ago, that was actually really good. It took him a few rotations, or at least a few super attacks, because that's kind of how it went. If you got those additionals, he would build up rather grossly, but now having 40% with easy A stats and having 250% now is really ridiculous. So yeah, key at the nice. I've always said before that key in the passive is extremely useful, especially with Boo units, and a nice amount of defense here, so already good. Now we have an additional attack that's now a 50% to super. The super attack effect now greatly raises rather than just, so that's a 50% rather than a 30, and this is now a 50% to stunning instead of the 30, so everything's been upped just a bit more appropriately. 50% chance to crit flat out, that's nice. Damage reduction 20% flat out, that's fine. 40% to stats, and that goes up to 120, and an additional damage reduction from 10 to 30 per Margin Power or Majin Buu Saga on the team, depending which one has more. Now the problem with, well, actually it's not really a problem, but Margin Power and Majin Buu Saga, they're gonna coexist. Now this team with this unit, probably Margin Power, but like again, like Majin Buu Saga would just incorporate the superclass, really, wouldn't it? The Super Saiyan 3s and the Vegetos. But you could, Margin Power is Majin Buu Saga. If you had a strong enough roster, you could do that, which would mean then that you would get a very easy 120% to stats, and then you could end up with what's that, 50% damage reduction? That's crazy. So that really is just bonkers. 250%, you get an extra 160% at the end of it, plus an additional 120%, 50% damage reduction, 50% chance to crit. It's insane. Defense 100%, and an additional damage reduction of 20% before he receives an attack 6 times. Before he receives 6 battles. So the first 5 hits, you're going to have that. Wow, that's insane. That's rather weird, but sure. That does actually coincide with this though, so we'll touch on it in a moment. 20% at the end of every turn for which you received an attack, that's fine. Unarmed super attacks, flat out you completely nullify them for the first 3 turns, and then it goes from was it a 50 or is it a 70? Still is a 70. It still is a 70 starting from the 4th rotation of this character's turn, starting from his turn. So that's pretty nice. The reason why this is 6 turns in battle is because it's still the same. So after you've received an attack, realistically, because you can trigger it slot 1, turn 1. You can pop this turn 1 if it happens. But 6 or more, you get 20% to stats. But for which case, you get the... it's not really a great... You would lose 100% defense, 20% damage reduction for 20% stats in battle. Bear in mind, by then, the chances of you having this all built up is high. And then, of course, you're going to have 20% of the overall total. So it's probably more than you think. Stat-wise, 55% comes in at... interesting. I am on easy A, right? Yeah, I am on easy A, and this is not great. Attack is really, really nice. I suppose it's a way of balancing out the fact that you could have a ridiculous amount of stats and damage reduction, because we have this 20%, and highly likely you'll only be on 50%, and then it means for the first 6 turns you'll have 70% damage reduction. And then, of course, because you have that amount of damage reduction, you'll put him in slot 1, for which you will guarantee to heal 20%. And if you have him as a guest, it means you'll be healing 20% every rotation. That's pretty insane. I suppose as well, having 20% in battle would also help complement big bad bosses. Remember, it'll be a 20% permanent buff for the rest of the battle for whatever your existing total is. If you had this at level 10, that's going to really, really help. Stuff like Margin, because the 2 key only pops in at level 10. Stuff like infinite regeneration. The higher end of the defense and the HP recovery kicks in at the end. So, and then plenty of attack power. Obviously, the teams you have here, really, really nice. A lot of these people have been easy aid. For example, Transforming Boo now is really, really good. He's a beast of a tank. This guy has 70% chance to dodge. This guy has 70% damage reduction. I think they all do. This guy, actually legitimately good. Gets a lot of stats with orbs. Has multiple attacks, can stun, gets defense. This guy's good. We all know about these two. These two are just broken, busted as hell. This guy's got his easy A. The way he stacks is berserk. And this guy, if his guard procs outside, because it's guaranteed on a fusion, but if his guard procs, he's going to build up fast. He just consistently in the right situation just hits 20 million at a snap of a finger. And then of course we have the physical Kid Buu, who is not on here because they share the same name, but if they have it on the same rotation, he'll be getting 3 key 50%, which is berserk, really. This could be good. The Buu team, you're looking at in essence the best that the Buu team can offer you. It's a very small category. This is the most recent Buu to come out, granted. They're all great. All the Easy A's are great. This guy can heal what he deals. This guy's probably dropped off by now, but like Transforming's great. The Anniversary unit is pretty great. This guy's pretty good. New Year unit, I think, for last year is also pretty good. The Transforming is good. These two are good. He's good for super physical. Extreme physical. This guy can be good in the right scenario. He needs a super easy A, but then the rest are reasonable, right? They're all just parts of it. Teams going for, in particular, we're talking demonic power could be a nice one. Sworn enemies could get a nice buff. Resurrected warriors, a legendary existence, maybe. Planetary destruction and worldwide chaos could sure be a good one. Artificial life forms could actually be a really good one. You could run Margin Boo, artificial transformation boost, margin power quite easily, and there'd be a few others where you could make a decent team. Boo would be good in your hands based on the roster that you can use him on, because otherwise he's predominantly going to be on margin power, so that's fine. But outside of that, he's really good. Do I put him ahead of Goku? You see, Goku, he massively stacks attack now these days. He has 70% chance to stun. He does have to transform for it, but fair enough. He has more stats, but it's transformed. Oh, it's hard to say, because like this guy, 70% damage reduction. I mean, after your 6th hit, you're going to be significantly weaker, sure. But then you would have built up this. It's hard to say, right, really, isn't it? It's going to gauge. I don't think he's going to lose too much. The 20% damage reduction is probably the biggest kicker. The fact that you have it for multiple turns is quite nice. I would say Goku is definitely better. The power that he's going to bring to the table, especially his crits, is going to be ridiculous. But the fact is, like, this guy, he's a literal tank. He's going to carry a lot of teams. You could use him on any one of these teams. And again, if you can try and swing it where you can get the damage reduction for either or of margin power or margin boo, it's going to nice. It's going to be nice. Remember, you have 20%, just one other unit, and you get that goes up to 30%, and that would make a bit of a difference. But yeah, he's good. He really is. I'll have fun going through him. He's easy A. How do you do it? It's pure science. It's got to be one of the most easiest to do. Any pure Saiyan, yeah, AGL is going to be ideal. So if you've got an AGL pure Saiyan, run it. But honestly, it's going to be one of the more easier A's to do. Then you can use him for the Goku one. The Goku one, funny enough, is margin power. So then you can use him to decimate the other one. It's 60 stones, so that's great. You can use it towards the Step Up banner or the anniversary coming out soon. So either way, it's a great touch-up. But yeah, 2 fantastic easy A's. This is a much shorter video because we have no one else to compare him to. One final thing, how do you build this guy? I would probably say additional. He doesn't really have dodge. And that could be one, because remember, he gets this, he keeps this otherwise. If you could dodge, you would maintain that longer. But I could understand the appeal for additional, because you get the stun chance and more defensive power. I would probably say, forget the crits. He has a 50% chance to crit, period. And I would say give him additional and dodge. Probably more on the dodge side, because again, he has at least one super attack. Well, one potential extra super attack here. And you're relying on a super attack. Well, actually, no, to be fair, no, it's wrong. It is every attack performed, so even an additional normal will give you 40%. Instead of 50%, you still get 40%. So that's not so bad. I still say dodge, only just because then you can maintain this, and there'll be a point where you can go in extra turn, and that extra turn, you can stick him in slot 1, tank that one last tack, and there you go. He's going to help out. So dodge will be more likely this guy's favour. The Goku will be a bit of blend of everything. Anyway, there we go. That's it. Thank you very much for watching. Get him out, get him done. Super short video this, love it. Anyway, let me know what you think, if he's a beast or not. But yes, until next time, I'll see you later. Thank you and bye bye.